Most charts show what happened, but not why. If you ever struggle to explain the story behind your number, this is the chart you've been missing. In these videos, I'll show you how to build a waterfall chart, a powerful visual that breaks down the steps behind the total, so your audience doesn't just see the number, they get the message. Get ready to turn the confusion into clarity, because this one chart reveals way more than you think. Hello everyone, welcome to another data analytics tutorial. My name is Lynn. I'm a senior data analyst with hands-on experience in banking and logistics industry. I've spent years turning messy spreadsheet into meaningful story. And I love to show people that data doesn't just have to be complicated, it can actually be fun and incredibly useful. Whether you're just starting out or looking to level up your data skill, you're in the right place. So consider subscribe for more insightful data tutorial. This video is a part of a larger series where we're helping Excel boba tea, a growing boba tea chain, make sense of their timesheet data. In the previous episodes, we kick off our visualization journey by structuring our analysis, worksheet, and setting up a strong foundation for our charts and dashboard. We also got some hands-on experience by building some simple and effective visual using basic objects and charts. Today, we'll level up our data visualization game with a more complex visual, the waterfall charts. We will start with data preparation task and explore why the waterfall chart is the perfect choice. Then, we will build a standard waterfall chart in Excel. And finally, we will solve a tricky scenario, how to make your waterfall chart scale dynamically. Before we dive in, you can download the data file using the link in the description. There's also a timeline to help you to navigate through all the sections of the videos. Please feel free to pause, rewind to follow along at your own pace. If you missed the previous episodes and want to catch up, I'll leave the link here so you can follow. Ready to take your chart to the next level? Let's dive into it. Now we're getting to the heart of our analysis, understand the number behind the timesheet. As always, I'd like to start with a high-level overview because it gives us a clear picture before diving into the details. Here's what we know. We planned for 3,661 days of working day, but only 3,619 days were actually being performed. So the question is, what caused the difference? There are two main possibilities. One is the employee did not take their holiday as planned. And the other one is some employees will take unplanned sick leave, which wasn't a part of the plan. So to figure this out, we need to break the number down step by step, starting with the planned workday. So that will be equal 3,661 days. And we're going to add back the holiday that were not taken. So that's the difference between the planned holiday and the actual holiday. Then we're going to subtract the actual sick leave because they are unexpected absent. And now if we sum up everything, we end up with 3,619 days, which is exactly the same as our actual work day. As you can see, this step-by-step logic gives us a clear explanation of the gap between the planned workday and the actual workday. Now here comes the question, how do we visualize these information? We need a chart that can show each step clearly from planned workday through each adjustment down to the final results. And that's exactly why the waterfall chart is the perfect fit. It is designed to show the different components, add or subtract from the total, making it ideal for explaining this type of breakdown. This turns complex differences into a visual story showing not just the what, but the why behind the number. Alright, now let's go ahead and insert our waterfall chart. So first select the data range. Now go to Insert, and right here, click on Waterfall Chart. I'm going to move it right here. Right now, the bar for the planned work holiday and the actual work days are shown as a flow. But what we actually want is to make them start at the same point right here. That way, we can clearly compare the two total. So how do we do that? We're going to need to select the actual workday 2 times. So just to make sure that we only select this column, right click and set as total. Do the same for the planned workday. Now I'm going to just quickly change the color. So the increase part here, I want it as green color. Decrease part, I want it as red color. And the total part, I'm going to just leave it as the main color right here. Now you can see the two total are at the same level, making it much easier to compare the planning and the actual, and we can see what contribute to the change. However, there's one more thing. The increase and decrease bar is very small and is a little bit hard to see with the current scale. So to make them clearer, we're going to need to adjust the y-axis so that the chart zoom in all the way to the top proportion. Click on the y-axis and then on your keyboard, click Ctrl 1 to open the formatting panel. Now I'm going to set the minimum as 3,500. Leave the maximum as auto. Now you can see that the y-axis is no longer starting at 0, but is starting at 3,500. So this scale up the whole chart and make it much easier to see at the top. And just like that, we now have a clean and clear visual showing the starting point, which is the planned workday, and everything in between that explain the difference. Now I'm going to quickly update the chart title to actual versus planned workday breakdown. One thing to notice is that the waterfall chart we created worked very well as long as we're looking at the full data set. However, the moment we're applying the filter, let's say from this store slicer, the chart starts to break. Why is that? Because when the store filter is applied, the value becomes so small. They fall below the minimum level. And that's why you do not see anything being displayed in the chart. And to make things trickier, the waterfall chart don't support dynamic scaling. So the question is, how do we make this chart responsive and meaningful even when the filters are applied? One way to think about it is instead of using the raw number, we could convert all the value into percentage using the planned workdays as the baseline of 100%. And this way, no matter how the data is filtered, we'll always compare the relative change to the baseline. Alright, to do that, we simply need to take each component and divide it by the planned workday. So type in equal, now select the planned workday and divide it by itself. I'm going to fix the denominators by clicking F4. Now hit enter and drag the formula down. Now we can clearly see how each value change in relation to the plan. And this new percentage column will be the data source for our updated waterfall charts. Alright, now let's update our chart. So select on the waterfall charts. This will highlight the original data range. Now simply drag and drop the highlighted range to the percentage column we just created. You can see now the y-axis updated into percentage, and we need to adjust it. So click Ctrl 1. Our scales is 100%, so I'm going to adjust the minimum to 95%. So here I'm going to type in 0.95 and hit enter. and the scale is automatically adjusted. Now I'm simply going to mark the planned workday and the actual workday as total. Alright, now we're back to the original layout and the scale is now in percentage. I'm going to try to unfilter the slicer here. As you can see, now the chart updates automatically and the scale stays consistent no matter what data is selected. And that's pretty good. Now for the data label, we can see that it's also showing percentage. And this is not what we want. We want to show the actual number of days. Unfortunately, there is no option to add these information dynamically to the charts. So we're going to use a simple workaround with text box like we did earlier. Go to Insert, Shape, and choose text box. Within the area of the chart, drag and draw the text box. Now within this text box, go to the formula bar, type equal. Now just quickly go to another sheet and go back so that we have the sheet name. And now select the cell value that you want to show and hit enter. You can see that the value is added here in this text box. I'm going to move this right here and click Ctrl D 4 times to duplicate the text box and move them accordingly. And now simply update the formula bar with the correct cell location. We don't need this y-axis anymore, so let's delete it. Also, these horizontal line as well. Now simply align the text box with the corresponding bar. Align bottom and distribute horizontally. I'm going to also format these text box so that they look as part of the chart. So remove the fill and also the outline. Then change the text fill into this dark gray and make it smaller and align the text properly. Alright, now let's group them all together. So click on one object. On your keyboard, click Ctrl A to select all the objects within the sheet. Now right-click and group them together as one object. So now if you move around, everything will move together. Alright, now that's look very good. Let's test this out. So I'm going to filter again using the Start Name Slicer. And you can see that the chart update accordingly. And now we have a fully dynamic, slicer responsive waterfall chart with a clear and meaningful labels. Today, we took our visualization skill up a notch with the waterfall chart, a powerful tool that breaks down step-by-step changes in your data. You've learned how to structure and build a standard waterfall chart in Excel. We also know how to adjust the chart to make small changes stand out. And we also make the chart fully dynamic and slicer responsive using percentages. This chart helps your audience to understand not just the number, but the story behind them. Now here's the things. The waterfall charts are standard chart in Excel and it's fairly easy to build. Here comes the question. What do you do when the chart you need doesn't exist in Excel by default? In the next videos, we will explore how to build a custom visual from scratch, starting with a slick, scalable gauge chart that will help you to display performance in a truly dynamic way. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss what's next in the series. If you got questions or feedback, drop them in the comment below and I would love to hear from you. See you in the next videos.